Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Chris Lyons. I'm the CEO of the FPSA, the Food Production Solutions Association. We're really excited to have you here today with us for our webinar, Unlocking Workforce Potential. It's a topic that is front and center for everybody that's engaged in the food and beverage industry today. There's a lot of issues that engage with workforce, like high turnover, widening skills gap, and increasing operational complexity. The challenges are real, and the need for practical, effective workforce strategies has never been more urgent. Today, we'll hear from two leaders who are meeting this challenge head on: Wendy Bushell from Palermo's Pizza and Cindie Serrano from Lincoln Premium Poultry, both companies that are FPSA members. Thank you very much. They'll share how strategic investments in training and employee engagement are helping their teams become more productive, more resilient, and more committed, results that speak for themselves. This webinar is also a great example of how FPSA supports our members, not just through networking and advocacy, but also bringing forward real, scalable solutions and information that you can use. One example is our partnership with WorkForge, which offers membership members access to cutting-edge training that can help build more skilled and stable workforce. Thanks again for joining us. We're glad you're here and part of this important conversation. Thanks in advance to WorkForge for organizing this webinar. And with that, I'll turn it over to Katie Allen, who is the Chief Marketing Officer at WorkForge and our moderator today. Katie?
Awesome. Thank you, Chris, and thank you to FPSA for hosting us today. Thanks to everyone for joining us. So just a few housekeeping notes before we get started. We did save some time for Q&A at the end. So if there are questions, please go ahead and just enter those into the Q&A portion. You can see that by hovering over the bottom of the screen. There's also a chat section. So if you have questions throughout, we have somebody on hand that can try and answer those as we work through, but we'll make sure to save time for questions at the end. I'm really excited today to be joined by two leaders who are doing the real on-the-ground work of building a stronger workforce from the inside out. So today's session is intended to be conversational. You'll hear directly from Wendy and Cindie about the impactful programs that they're leading. We do have a few slides just to help illustrate key points, so we'll bring those up throughout the discussion as needed, but we intend this to just be a chat back and forth between Cindie and Wendy going forward. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves in a minute, but before we get into the conversation, I want to just provide a little bit of context on WorkForge because it directly connects to the conversation that we're going to be having today. So at WorkForge, we're really focused on helping manufacturers build a skilled, capable workforce, especially on the front line. And we do that through a modern configurable approach that combines customizable training content, a robust catalog of industry-specific modules, and the flexibility to host your organization's own materials all in one place. It's designed to support real workforce development, making it easier to onboard, upskill, and engage employees at every level. So that foundation, having the right tools and training in place is really important, but it's the people who bring it to life. And that's what we're here to talk about today. So let me introduce you to Cindie and to Wendy. And Cindie, if you want to start, maybe give a brief introduction of your role and about LPP.
Sure. My name is Cindie Serrano, and I am the Director of Organizational Development at Lincoln Premium Poultry, which is Costco's chicken complex. So we have a feed mill, a hatchery, a processing plant, and then we have our live side, our technicians that go out to the farms. We produce about 42% of Costco's total needs. So been here since we started the plant in 2019, and I have been here prior to the startup of the plant. So got to watch it grow. So it's amazing.
Awesome. Wendy, we'll turn it over to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. Great to be here. Wendy Bushell, I'm the Chief People Officer at Palermo's. I have the pleasure of being a part of a family-owned business and a third-generation company that is a food pizza manufacturer, frozen pizza manufacturer. And Right now, we have two facilities, and our third facility, we actually just received the keys yesterday for occupancy in West Milwaukee. So we have three production facilities, production lines, and three bakeries. Our new facility is actually a state-of-the-art bakery. And with that, you may recognize a lot of these brand names, but we also do a lot of private label as well. So Palermo's name, Screamin' Sicilian, Connie's, Urban Pie, those are our main ones. But you may have seen recently a cutting edge licensing that we partnered together with Cheez-It and with Ragu. And then Stranger Things is a huge Netflix series that the new season or the final season is coming, and that's actually our Surfer Boy pizza, which is now branded as Stranger Things. Um, so I have a lot to talk about with our employees and things that we're going to talk about today. So we have over 1,200 employees across the three locations and all in Wisconsin. I've been here for 4 years, and I just have the pleasure of leading our entire HR team and actually our security and our safety team as well. So I look forward to our conversation.
Awesome. Thanks for those intros. Cindie, to go back to you quickly, you had mentioned something on our previous call about how many miles of production lines you had in your facility. What was that number again?
Well, just in our air chill, we have 7 miles of chain that runs our lines. Yep.
Crazy.
Yes.
All right. Thank you guys for those introductions. So before we jump into kind of the scheduled topics, would you mind speaking briefly just about the challenges you were trying to solve with workforce development when you came into your roles? Cindie, maybe we'll start with you.
Okay, sure. Well, the poultry industry is noted for high turnover. So that was our initial goal. And because we wanted to be different than most, and we wanted to create a culture where everybody feels welcome and everybody feels heard. And so that's what led us to do our programs.
That's great. Wendy?
hmm Yes, so when I arrived, I was at the very end of COVID. So 2021, the end of 2021, but we were still really trying to figure out everything from that time period. So everyone stayed home and had frozen pizza during COVID, which was amazing. However, we had to be very creative and to keep up with the demand and with our customer demand. So when I arrived, it was really taking it into consideration. We were very heavily a temporary workforce. So that percentage was flipped, a lot of temporary versus a lot of regular. So my first goal and my challenge was to make that number flipped and have regular employees, very much like Cindie said, to really create that culture, that ownership, that engagement, and having an employee here with all of their benefits and everything that comes with it and our total rewards. So I strategically and intentionally built a team around making that happen. And I can get more into that too in some of the next questions.
That's awesome. All right, let's move into the first topic for discussion, which is workforce training as a recruitment and retention tool, which is what we were just talking about. So the first question is, how are companies using workforce training as both a recruitment and retention tool? So maybe Wendy, we'll start with you.
Sure. Yep. Absolutely. So just stemming off of what I just mentioned. So I intentionally and strategically built a team that would allow us to partner with a lot of community organizations for our recruitment and the initial just building of those relationships. As you know, in communities, if someone has a great experience, that word of mouth is huge. And here in Milwaukee, we have a large refugee population and several different cultures and a very diverse culture within our area. So those partnerships with that community has been just so positive and amazing, not only for us, but especially for the employee. Someone coming here and starting out new and in this country and what we're providing to them means so much, and they are so appreciative. So a lot of that for me was building those connections with the community and the partnerships, and then also building a team that spoke those languages so that we could offer those services and resources and that onboarding experience that we wanted for those employees. So I have one individual on my team. I won't share his name because you're probably all going to try to recruit him, but he speaks 8 languages, including Burmese, Karen, Rohingya, and Malay and Mela. So those are some of our different languages that we are spoken here. We have coordinators across all three shifts that can support all of those languages as well, Burmese and Korean, especially on second and third, and then of course Spanish as well on all three of our shifts and in all of our facilities. So that was a really big piece for me was building those relationships in the community and my team around that.
That's awesome. Thank you. Cindie?
Yeah, so currently everybody's experiencing a little bit difficulties finding skilled work or skilled workers. Back in the 50s, the fertility rate was five children per woman. And right now we're looking at, I think we're sitting at 2.3, and we're projected to be down to 2.1. So fertility rate, there isn't children in school that are going to replace the people retiring. So you have to be creative. So one thing we are doing is we are actually working for a program that upskills our current workforce. Like we have partnered with Workforge to do some machine specific training, which will take our employees and teach them about the machine so they can become operators. And then from operators, they can actually go into maintenance. And I believe we have a short clip here of what that looks like.
General operation. The operation begins with the poultry arriving at the vent cutter via the rehanger. The in-feed condition includes both legs shackled, backs toward the machine, and all shackles filled. The process is as follows.
So that gives us the chance to show them how the machine functions and everything without actually opening up the guards of the machine. But also we'll teach them everything all the way through to maintenance, how to make adjustments and settings. Eventually we'll add in rebuilds, how to rebuild the machine. That has been, I mean, we started it already and it has been a huge help. But being able to allow those career pathways for people to grow as well also makes you more of a premier employer. You know, people want to come work for you. So our facility is state of the art. We have very, very high technology and maintenance in other facilities. If we hire them in, they come here, it's not the same equipment. It's a lot higher tech. So we struggled with that difficulties in the beginning. Since we are a new facility, we did have the vendors here training for the first year. But then after they left, you know, with turnover, you know, we lost a lot of them. So, but currently our programs that we're doing has helped our turnover rate. We are at 28% versus the industry average of 104%. So the employees stay when they feel like they're invested in, and also when they have a pathway to grow. So we allow our employees here to start the program at 90 days. So once they've completed their probationary period, you know, they have the option to pick, oh, maybe I want to go into QC, or maybe I want to be a machine operator, or maybe maintenance, or whatever they choose, and we help them get there.
That's great.
So,
I bet everyone didn't think they were going to see a video like that in the webinar today. That's a great one.
We're super proud of it. The staff here, that when they see it, they're like, "Wow, how did they do that?" So it's pretty neat stuff.
Spot on for sure.
Mhm.
For sure. And I'm sure everyone has had a rotisserie chicken from Costco and can appreciate it also of what goes into getting it there and on the
Yeah,
shelf.
yeah, that's
Absolutely.
one thing with us being higher technology. We literally have visitors from all over the world come to tour our plant.
Mhm.
It's very hard to find those skilled workers, so we have to maintain a step above the rest. You know, we really have to do our due diligence to make sure we're a good place to keep our people.
That's great.
So.
Wendy, Cindie touched on the kind of the career pathways and the communication of that. Do you mind talking just a little bit about how you're managing that at Palermo's?
Yes, absolutely. No, I was going to say this tag teams really well. I was just going to add on to what we're doing. So as mentioned, when someone joins our team, sometimes it will be as a temporary employee too. We do still have some of those, but individuals who are joining really have the opportunity to say, okay, here's where you're at to start, but this is what it would take to move to, say, from a B level to an A level. and showcasing to them from the very beginning, like, okay, this is what you're doing on this point right now, but next week, if you're interested in moving to this one to be more well-rounded, if that's an interest to you, that's what we can do for you. We actually have production training coordinators on each shift also that help individuals on board with their first day, get them comfortable, but then walk them through the path on that with their career pathing and their journey. And just like Cindie said, whether it's, do you want to maybe go into the kitchen? Do you want to be a scanner? Do you want to be a weight checker? All of those requires specific skill set, but then also all of those also come with a compensation increase. And that also is something that can potentially motivate someone and move to that next level from their compensation side. So that's how we are doing it. But we also have the technology that will help us with that. So previously, it was not formalized in any sort of sense that, okay, I'm going to train you on this. That's great. But we never really had record of those individuals going into those different paths or different areas. But now we do with the platform that allows us to add that course in, have somebody be evaluated should they be able to work on it and then showcase, okay, yep, these 10 people are trained in this area, which also helps when you have a potential, maybe there's a call in or a PTO day. You can say, okay, Sally is actually trained on this area from the reporting that we can get from the system. And Sally can move into that role today versus getting a temporary employee, which is also a cost savings to us as well.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And like Wendy too, we have eliminated all our third party employees that we had here in the beginning, the temporary employees too.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
There are certain times when we have certain projects where we need some just additional workforce to join us, but the ultimate goal is to be at 95% Palermo employees and 5% temporary.
That's great.
Yes.
That's a great maybe segue into the next section, Wendy, is creating a culture of trust, transparency, and retention. So when you talk about the career pathways and being able to provide that transparency for a worker to see what that could potentially look like, can you talk a little bit about the role that trust and transparency plays in workforce retention?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. This is like my favorite slide ever, and just all these favorite pictures that I love because this is exactly what we're talking about, right? But I'm showing you exactly what's happening. So these are all pictures of individuals with their workforce certificate of completion or being evaluated on those areas and being able to move into that next level position with their career. So we're not only saying it, but we're actually like providing the resources, we're providing the training, we're providing the movement to the next level, and that builds trust. That is how you continuously showcase that we are here for the employees and for their career and for their success. Jumping ahead, but this is how we actually utilize technology to have them come to their trainings and to build that culture of safety and food safety and food quality. So this is a picture of employees coming to their weekly meetings and scanning the QR code that they are coming to their safety and quality training in their language. And it's super simple. So you may think that technology is a barrier for someone who maybe doesn't speak English, but it's not. So everyone has a cell phone, everyone has a handheld device that we found out, and they love QR codes because you can literally just scan it, you look at it, they click the button that they've attended, and then also there's some questions and evaluation at the end that's also in their language. So even for individuals that may not read, which we also have, this also is like Cindy's video, because you can watch the video and you can see that, you can take away what we're trying to train you on. And so we do a lot of visuals and a lot of videos as well.
Mhm. Yes. So for us at LPP, besides the machine specific training, we also have the touch point program. It's a program that we decided to start because we wanted to know what was the concerns of the people, why were people leaving? So basically, when we have new hires come in now, our training team that does orientation, we really spend a lot of time working on building a relationship with those new hires. And that relationship, we continue it on after their orientation. So when they go out to the production floor, we go out and follow up with them weekly and daily in some cases. The weekly questions that we ask, we put them into a system and it will send automatic notifications if there's something wrong. So by doing that, we're getting real-time information of what's happening, what the employee is experiencing in their first 90 days, and we're able to take action in real time and then show the results in real time, which is huge because if an employee voices a concern and we show that not only did we hear them, we took action and we solved the problem immediately, it shows that we value what they're telling us and that we care enough to investigate and fix the issue. That program, prior to that program, we were sitting at like, I want to say 77% turnover rate. We implemented that program using paper, which brought us down to 56, which is better, but not good enough. And then we put it into a software system that would notify everybody right away of any issues. It also gave us the capability to review the data and go, like we found out what our main issues were and what some of the employees were really struggling with. And believe it or not, one of those instances were boots. They were actually leaving because of their boots. Their boots that we provided were hurting their feet. So we were able to pull the boots out, take a look at them, and we found that there was a bump right across the arch on the inside of these boots. So they were literally standing on what felt like a rock all day long while they were out on the production floor. So we were able to remove those boots, put in a new boot program, and that helped tremendously. But just by adding the software as a tool, we were able to drop down to that 20. 24 was our lowest, 28 is about our average. Depending on the season, of course, people want to go on vacations longer than normal, which we also allow to some extent. So, but that was a huge help. But the transparency in the answers that they give us, that goes straight to our HR and T&D team, and we take action right away. I believe that the transparency part is huge. We don't hide the issues we're finding with them or try to handle them ourselves. It goes to our big team of people who can all pitch in. We don't discipline any supervisors or anything if there's any complaints like that. We use it as a coaching. We coach them and try to help them better them for the employees. But that was a huge, huge deal for us. And building that relationship, you can't go wrong. You really can't. We also ended up adding to that, which is kind of part of our next question. We added our floor time job hardening program to transition the relationship from our training team to their supervisors. So now instead of our training team checking in on them, now our supervisors do it. And they talk to them about, how they're doing as far as their role. Are they experiencing any pain or anything like that? And if they are, they get them into our therapy. But they basically ramp up in their roles. So they spend time watching and then they spend time working and gradually getting more and more time working. So
That's great. You both have done just a tremendous job of driving that transparency and obviously building the trust amongst your employees. And a big piece of that, and Cindie, you touched on this a little bit with the boot issue, is just employee safety, right? So
yeah.
I think a big driver in turnover is probably that employees don't feel safe at work, right? So how do you ensure that your employees are, have the ability to take ownership over that they are safe, that they have that trust and feel like they're able to do their jobs safely and efficiently?
Yeah, and I was going to add too, like in addition to our 30 and 90-day check-in, just like Cindie had mentioned, we have the same thing. It's on a form and it's real time and we can get real time information, which is great because you are so right. Like there's some things that come through, you're like, oh, okay, like I don't have a walkie and I need a walkie to communicate with the warehouse. We're like, oh, okay. Yeah, like let's fix that, right? But also what we did, which we found really successful recently, is again, I'm going back to this QR code because like I'm a total fan because like everyone uses it. And I mean, it's gone over so well, and it's become like our new like communication tool for them to scan a QR code. And we have signs or posters around the building. It's like, hey, any feedback or any suggestions, anything that's on your mind today, click this QR code or scan this QR code and let us hear it. And that has been amazing too. Everything from they would like a popcorn machine in the lunchroom to I need more training, right? I would like more training on XYZ. And so those are things that we can take, just like Cindie said, real-time action on, and that we are actually showcasing to them that we're listening, we want your feedback, and then we're also going to be able to execute on certain things, right? Potentially maybe not the popcorn like open in the lunchroom, but maybe some bags of popcorn, right? So things like that just continuously help with our retention levels. And I like to track it as retention rate. And we're super proud. We have a 97.3% right now for hovering in June is where we're at across the entire company, which is pretty great. That's
Yes, it's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I guess we can thank COVID for the prevalence of QR codes being
I mean, right? Who knew, right? We did not know that this was going to go over so well. And by implementing our new platform with the learning management system, we gave this a go, right? Of like, this is how we can track it. This is how we can do this. Because I'm not sure if I mentioned before, people would sign in on these meetings, like over 125 people attend these meetings every day. They would sign in on a paper form. And you can imagine, like, you can't really read their handwriting also. So we may or may not have recorded them. And then we had a person actually entering in all of those individuals' names by hand manually every single day into the system. Probably not daily, it was probably weekly. So there was no real time, like say we had an auditor come in and say, okay, can you show me who attended lockout takeout training or the, contamination training last week? We were kind of like, okay, this is who we have in the system, but we did not feel audit ready or 100%. Whereas now that we have our platform and our system and our process, we are 100% audit ready, and we feel very comfortable to run any report that we need to at any time because of that technology.
Yep. And we're in the same situation with somebody manually putting in those records all the time. You just can't do that. Also, we didn't have the capability of a dashboard to review who was trained on what. So we were getting
Great point.
calls
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
the production team saying, "Hey, is this employee trained on this?" And we'd have to look it up, right? And that's just not the way it should be. So, yeah, that's something we're doing. And I'm taking note, Wendy, because your QR code for your ideas from the people. So we have an idea card program, but currently it's on paper. And I'm like, yes, Wendy's got it. We're going to put a QR code so that they can submit their ideas that way. So, love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. No, awesome. No, and great point on the dashboard too. That the technology, the platform allows this dashboard where it's real time for the supervisor at any
Mhm.
time. So they have it on their fingertips and they can go in. It's on their iPads on the floor. They can go in. So no, that's a great ad because that's a huge benefit.
Yeah. So on safety, we implemented a safety behavior based program that is safety starts with me is what our motto is, so that everybody knows that they can do self-reporting, and it's their responsibility to make sure they're taking care of themselves, but also each other. And we started doing some audits with the employees. So our supervisors are required to do 3 a week. And for each of those, they grab an employee and do that with them. So they're again building that relationship, but also that goes into a system where we get real time notifications, and so we take action right away. That has been a huge help as far as our safety. We've won national safety awards and Nebraska safety awards for the last 3 years. And mind you, we've only been in operations for 5. We had to wait till the 3rd year to apply because you have to have 3 years worth of information. So, but it's been a huge help. Again, real time, the people see the issue, they report the issues in real time. They're getting, the safety team is out there taking action. And then we have a lot of our employees on the safety committees, and they themselves are doing those audits as well. And then we've been able to kind of transfer that ownership of safety away from just upper management to it being everyone. Everybody has a responsibility. So it's helped a lot. We've reduced reportable incidents and just provided a safer work environment, and of course the morale. And on our touch point program, some of those questions are safety related. So it starts from the day they start working here, that they get asked how they feel their safety is in their area. Do they have any safety concerns? Any suggestions? All that stuff. And when you talk about employee safety, it's not just at work, it's also outside of work as well. And resources and stuff that they need. All those things are on our program that we ask them, do you need anything? And we try to help them find what they need. It's those community partnerships that are out there that help us provide those things that we may need for our employees. Just being those people that they can go to, just down to earth, get to know them.
That's incredible. And Cindie, you touched on kind of the recognition, and I think you both have received external recognition for, that's based on employee feedback, right? And
Yes.
the trust and transparency that you have built within your organization. So Wendy, I know Palermo's just got a new award this week that you should be very proud of.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, the Great Place to Work certified is just a really honor because it's all the employees' feedback. That's how you get it, right? And then yeah, we just had the best and brightest in Milwaukee and also for our wellness program too. But yeah, the program that we have here in place as well that intertwines safety is safety alerts and identifying potential safety risks and like Cindie said, really putting having the employees and the individuals on the floor are the ones that can see those risks and see something, say something, right? And it's not just the safety team's responsibility for everyone to be safe. It's everybody. It's out on the floor, and we have a slogan like "You're the key to our safety." And so we did like this cool campaign with like this huge key, and everybody got keys and like a golden key, like you are the key. And then I don't know if you guys all know about like the football team that hits the sign, on their way out to the field. I think it's Notre Dame, right? I'm pretty sure I'm not a huge sports, but they hit the sign and they touch the sign like let's go and do this, let's win. So they all touch the key before they go into after their stretches, which is pretty cool. And the program that we have in place, all of our employees are pizzaiolas. That's how they're affectionately referred to. And we have the most valuable pizzaiola program. We're trying to figure out, because right now it's on paper, right, that people can nominate peers, colleagues, different things. We do have a form, but that's more for people who have a computer. So we're still working on revamping that piece, but individuals who are nominated get to spin this giant wheel, this giant MVP wheel for, there's a coveted PTO day, there's the amazing $100 gift cards. There's all these like cool merchandise for our Palermo store, coat, apparel, things like that. So that goes over really well. And an example, we recently had a cleanup that our sanitation team had to do, which took them a long time. And that entire sanitation team got nominated for most valuable pizzaiolos, and they all got to spin the wheel. And like 2 of them got a PTO day, and a couple other people got jackets. So it was just went over really well. And again, it's that engagement, and it's recognizing them for what they do every single day, but going above and beyond and also identifying some of those risks and those hazards intertwined into that program really worked really well too for our culture.
That's great. Maybe moving on to the next section, we've talked about this a little bit, but just technology and training innovation. So maybe just talk a little bit about kind of what were some of the biggest challenges in adopting new technology and how did you address them? And then Wendy, I'm going to weave in for you. One of the questions that just came through in the Q&A was around the personal devices. So when thinking about technology, have you run into any issues asking people to use their personal devices for the QR codes?
Mm-hmm. No, that's a great question because we thought of that too. And then we thought of like, okay, phones are not allowed on the production floor, all those different things, right? To answer the question, we have not run into any of that because it's very quick. We're not asking them to go on it to take a course. They would actually use a company iPad that we provide through our production team and through our trainers for those purposes, or we have a kiosk that they would actually log into and do some of those courses that way. So the phone is just a very quick scan of their attendance, and then maybe like one question like, yes, I understand that I can't smoke on the property, right? Or something very, very quick and easy. Um, but with that, the challenge when we re-rolled this out was understanding this challenge, right? So some people still have they may have a track phone or a smartphone or a flip phone. So how do we combat some of those types of things? Then again, having the personnel on my staff and my team that could support someone being able to push on, click on the app or go into the website, making sure they're on the Wi-Fi, all of those different things. You just have to make sure that you're thinking about the logistics of that because when we rolled out the platform, we actually had a whole team. We had a pop-up days. We had several people that were involved in helping individuals get on it. And then, that our phones are smart because then they can save the username, they can save some of the passwords, so it was very easy for them to get in. But the initial launch of it, very much you have to just plan the logistics and how you're going to roll that out.
Great. Thank you. Cindie, anything on your end?
Well, I think for us, the machine specific training and the different language barriers, it's one of those things where we can make it what we want it to be, right? So we can do it in all those different languages. I think that's really something that we have needed for a long time, and it opened up the doors to all our people who didn't speak English because previously it was English only for like maintenance and stuff like that, and now it's not. Now it doesn't matter what language you speak, there is opportunity for you. Um, with technology, most of our machinery is in different languages, so we can easily change the machinery. And we've found the way to use different apps to be able to read things or to put in work orders and everything. If there is a will, there is a way. If you really want to open the door for your employees to provide opportunity for them, language can't be an issue and technology shouldn't be an issue. Technology should be an asset to utilize to help you get there. We actually had robots that we purchased that were taking the place of 60 employees' jobs. However, we didn't terminate those employees. What we did is we absorbed them elsewhere, and some of those employees actually got to become robot operators because they learned on the robots and they knew better than anybody. So it actually opened up opportunities. We reduced 60 employees' positions by adding 18 robots and didn't lose a beat in production. And our director of admin was the one who met with the employees first and told them about the robots that were going to be coming. And once we installed the very first robot cell, she went out on a tour because we give a lot of tours, and all of a sudden they're walking by that area and the people are clapping. And she's like, what are they clapping for? So the supervisor told her, well, they're happy with the robots. They absolutely love them. So with anything, when you're going to implement something, letting the people know ahead of time, getting their opinion, ensuring them the concerns they have, talking them through it, it's a success. But they have adapted technology even as far as robots. So a QR code is nothing difficult for them anymore. So
That's awesome. It all goes back to the culture and the trust
mhm.
built.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And
Yes.
I will add too that, with technology, we again, when I arrived, I was very strategic in some of the different things I was doing to build that technology, specifically starting with our HRIS system. So all of our employees were still filling out like manual PTO requests on pieces of paper and different things. So one of the first things we did was everyone got downloaded the HRS systems app onto their phone, and now we help, we had to help them, right? Again, that goes back to my whole team being able to help them do that. So we really started that like with that piece first, and then continued just to add and build on it as we went, and I've had found success in it as well. So yeah, that was just another piece that I found successful, just starting it and building upon it.
That's
Yeah.
all right. Just looking at the time clock here, just really quickly, maybe we'll just roll into either from both of you, maybe one lesson that you've learned from implementing your programs, or one action that attendees on the webinar can maybe take if they want to start transforming their workforce strategy.
I would say building relationships. If you can build a relationship, people trust you, you can be transparent with them. We're all the same, no matter what job roles we have. We all have an importance. And so if they know that you think of all the people that way and you communicate with them and are transparent, you gain so much in the amount they'll work for you, the loyalty, and just they'll be more open to learning new things, more open to new ideas when you want to implement something new. It's just building that relationship. That's the best foundation I can say to start with.
No, I so agree with that, and just echo that piece of it, because we see it so often with our workforce, especially with my team, and that relationship they build with the various employees and their cultures. And a lot of times, like even if I go down and I'm trying to help someone, we have a window, we have like an area or like where all employees can come and ask questions and different things. And I'll ask if I can help, and they're like, "Oh no, we're actually waiting for Andy. Andy can help." And so they really build that connection and that relationship. But what I was going to add to you is that when I was embarking on this, I knew that I had to have, and it really does go back to those relationships, but I needed to have like a point person that I could that could be my go-to person to help me facilitate this, and to I would say get buy-in and just really understand how it would impact each department in each area before I rolled something out. So getting that input, getting that guidance. And then the biggest piece for me too was ensuring that we would have consistency across our three facilities. So the biggest thing that I found when I embarked on this journey is that our previous platform was very open. So it allowed for several things to not be in a format or to be in different formats, different naming conventions, different ways things were uploaded, how things were worded. So we were very strategic in making things consistent and having a process and an SOP in place of like, we're going to be doing this. This is how the process is and how it should be named, and how you should go about it, or who you should work with to set that up. So that's my recommendation, just from lessons learned and how it was in the past and how we set it up going forward.
Great advice. Thank you both. We do have some questions if we've got a little bit more time for Q&A. But first, thank you, Wendy and Cindie, for sharing your stories. It's incredible what you both have put into place, and I know you are both incredibly busy. So thank you for spending this time with us today. We do have some questions, so we'll jump in here quickly. Dave said, "Thank you for sharing your thought leadership on these topics. As a Workforge customer," which they are, thanks, Dave, "we agree they create amazing content. Other than retention, are you measuring learning impact in other ways?"
So we will be, once we have it fully rolled out. Yeah, we will be watching to see downtime as far as our downtime improvement. Just from what we've rolled out, we've already seen a difference, but we want to start actually tracking it when we have the whole program rolled out, which we're almost there on year one. So
Awesome. Wendy?
Yeah, no, definitely. So, a couple of things that we're tracking in terms of training. So, right now we're tracking actually utilization within the platform. And right now, I mean, our goal is 85 to 90% utilization. We're hovering at 77% right now. So, we know that there are people that we can continue to connect with to get them used to being in the system. And the utilization, what I mean by that is actually like taking a course in the system, and so it's not necessarily the attendance piece. So on the attendance and like attending the trainings and the quality and the safety training, that is an amazing number, which I'm super proud to report. But I just had some June results and also to share. So we tied in our quality training and our safety training into our quarterly bonus incentives for our employees. So every quarter, an employee has three things that they can accomplish and do to be eligible for $400. So it's perfect attendance. It's doing their quality trainings through the platform all 3 months, and it's attending their safety training, doing their safety training all 3 months through the quarter. So with that, we had over 780 employees who received the full bonus for quality and safety training. And then if you think about it, to have perfect attendance in production, that means that they had no points, they weren't late. That is an amazing number, hovering around 220 people had 0 points for a quarter. So that is pretty amazing. So we tied in some of the incentives to the technology and to that tracking too. So and that's been very successful for us.
Awesome. I wish there was like an emoji response I could give to that number.
I know, I know. This is like, oh, and when I see those numbers, I'm just like, yeah, I'm blown away.
That's great. Okay, a couple more questions here. Wendy, maybe this is one for you. Going back to your compensation increase programs, how has WorkForge helped keep track of the different tiers employees are currently at and working towards?
Mm-hmm. No, that's a great question. I kind of stem off of Cindie. I would say that's a work in progress for that tie-in for us. So in our HRIS system, we do have the mid, and max of the ranges for those positions and what it means for going from a B to an A or to, those scanner, weight checker, all those next operator levels. So we do have that. It's more tied into the learning pathway in the platform in WorkForge. So we know that if someone completes this pathway, they will go to the B level, which we know is X in from our HRIS system compensation platform. So we still have that dual connection, but yeah, more to come on that. But that's a great question because we started with making sure that our HRIS feeds. So WorkForge and our HRIS talk every morning at 7:45, and so people flow in, people flow out. It's amazing. It's super smooth. It's that connection. So people are coming in and out, but that's we started with that as we just implemented in January of this year. So, but that's a great point. But that's how we do it right now is we just make sure we connect it with that. And I have a senior total rewards manager on my team, and she's really takes ownership and watches that those compensation areas in her role.
We're also doing something similar. So with ours, like Wendy said, it comes in through our um, Chronos is what we use here, and by title. So we actually have different titles. So we have level one, level two, level three, level four of different various job roles. So as their title changes, they'll get that compensation. And we'll just have a report coming out saying who completed what trainings. But in our situation, what we do is we have them do the training first, and then when a position is open for those levels, then they can apply for it. So that's how we do it. You invest in yourself first with those extra pathway classes, and then when the job opening comes open, it doesn't guarantee you the role, but obviously you look like a better candidate if you've completed some training. So that's kind of how we're doing it, at least to start.
Great. All right, we've got two more. We'll try and get through them. Wendy, you may have touched on this a little bit when you were just talking about your quarterly results for your training. But we have a question. Have you run into comprehension challenges when moving to a new platform? For example, we moved from Alchemy, which was very basic training, to a new platform with better, more detailed training, and found employees struggled to get through it and has slowed down the orientation process.
Yeah, yep. And so that is where we made sure that when we were putting things together that it's very visual for comprehension. So visual meaning there's probably not even a word. It's a picture that really hones in on the topic and the subject that anyone can understand. So it's like typically what we do is we have like the wrong picture of like what not to do with like an X through it. And then we actually sometimes will show a video of something that that transpired that like was a risk and that was a safety hazard. Like just using safety as an example. We show that video of saying like, yeah, that was not good, right? That was a potential safety hazard. And then we show the correct way of doing it through another video of, let's say, these are the right gloves you wear when you're cutting open this box, and this is the knife that you use, right? So it's a ton of visuals and a ton of videos. We had a hard time with that too. We moved way away from. I understand that SOPs are a needed step and that we have to have that for our BRC audit and our quality purposes and all those different things. But as you guys all know, no one's reading that. No one's going to understand that, especially with the the different barriers that we may have from a reading and writing perspective. So we had to really say like, yep, we have the SOP, but here's the video and here's the picture from that SOP of what's right and what's wrong, if that helps.
Yeah, that's great. Maybe on that note, Cindie, we'll go to you on this one. Maybe thinking back to the vent cutter video that we showed. So is your L&D team creating content, or are the subject matter experts in the plants creating this content and capturing videos? Maybe you want to talk a little bit about that process.
Yeah. So we actually have Workforge come in and we have them video our machinery, and then they go back to the office and work on the 3D portion of it. They create it from the video. And then we supply our manuals to the machines. And then we have a group of SMEs who are here with us, our employees, that meet weekly with them and go over all the different stuff. So it's kind of a combination effort. But our team, I'm a photographer and a videographer on the side, not professional, but nobody else here is. So we did try it. We tried multiple different things. We tried having a nonprofit group come in and try to do videoing, and it just doesn't work. It's better to leave that stuff to the professionals because you get out of it what you put into it, you know? So we found Workforge and we're so glad when we did because it has been exactly what we envisioned. Here prior, we were teaching skill classes. We spent a lot of money to pay for the material to be created for us for skills classes. However, we were doing a pay increase per skills class that the employees would take, and they were going out to the floor and not utilizing their skills anyway. So here they were getting paid for supposedly being able to like wire a motor, yet they couldn't wire a motor in production. So we got away from that because generally most of the people we were hiring in, and this is predominantly for maintenance, but most of them we were hiring in had the skills. They just didn't know how to work on the machines with the technology. So when we found Workforge and we were able to do our pilot run, we showed it out to all the team members in that area, and they absolutely thought it was amazing. Showed it to our COO, who's been in the chicken industry his whole life, and he actually said, "I learned something new." He had learned something new. It was amazing. We're like, "Wow, we taught you something." Normally, it's him teaching us. So I think Workforge has helped us to provide this package that now any new hire coming in can learn the machines that they're going to be working on. We also show it to our supervisors and our managers, because believe it or not, it is beneficial for them to know if a shear pin is broke, how long it takes to fix it. And if they see the training, they're going to have an idea of that. And so it helps better make adjustments with production. Do I send my line to break now? That kind of stuff. So, all in all, it's not something I would recommend trying to do on your own, because we did try. And it took us, I want to say, about a year and a half before we finally said, no, we're going to find somebody professional.
Awesome.
So.
All right, I think we've got time for one more question. And Wendy, this one is for you, going back to your absentee example. How easy is it to access information for floor supervisors? Does Workforge offer an app, or is it required to pull the report before going out on the floor?
Yep, no, that all goes back to the dashboard we were referring to. So that's, you just log in to your the Workforge platform with your username and password. And the dashboard is there. So there's no report that has to be run. You can, if you wanted to have it as a listing. And you can export it into various mechanisms to filter and different things like that. But you wouldn't really have to if you're a manager and you can see your team right on the platform or the dashboard, excuse me. Yeah, and I was actually just going to add one thing to what Cindie said. We got the Articulate software, so a lot of our SMEs will take the video and then convert it in Articulate, which also uploads into Workforge, which is amazing, super easy steps. And then also I just wanted to add too, we actually put QR codes on the machine for troubleshooting videos. So when our operator maybe runs into a snag and a certain piece that maybe that machine always does this, there's a QR code for a video on how to troubleshoot it, so they don't necessarily always have to call. And then going back to the question on metrics, that also reduces downtime because they can have this troubleshooting video at their fingertips to get the line or this particular piece of that machinery back up and running the way that it needs to. Versus before, again, it was a manual in a bin. They had to go to the manual and read the manual of how to do it. So I just wanted to add that,
Yes.
which is kind of a cool thing that the platform can also support.
Yes, and same thing for us with wiring a motor seemed to be the biggest issue out there on the floor. Now they can pull it up with the use of a QR code and watch it. Bam, bam, bam.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much. I know that was a lot of questions. Thanks everyone who submitted questions. Thank you again, Cindie and Wendy, for your time. Thank you,
Thank
FPSA.
you.
I think I'm going to invite Chris back briefly to give a few last notes.
Yes, thank you very much. Wow. That webinar was so packed with information. That was fantastic. Thank you, Wendy and Cindie and
Yep.
Katie, for this great session. And thanks to everybody that was listening in. The video will be available to be viewed in the future. I think we're going to send out a link to everybody that was here. So much in this to unpack and ideas to take away. Of course, workforce development is a challenge that everybody is navigating. And if you didn't find something in this webinar that is useful to you, I don't know, but wow, a lot of great stuff. So I'd also lastly like to invite you to join us next month. We're starting up another webinar series. August 20th will be our first edition of FPSA's Ask Me Anything. And this will be one on leadership journeys and lessons learned. And we'll be featuring Eric Brainerd, our chairman, and Dana Summerhour, our vice chairman, for a 30-minute webinar offering their candid insights from their own journeys to leadership and practical takeaways for others that are in that journey. And so I hope you all join us for that conversation as well. And so I'd just like to thank everybody again for this. This was a great webinar, and thank you all for your participation and fantastic information. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
You as well.
Everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.